really love this decision.
Over the middle, got his man, and look at him go! Jalen Waddle for the touchdown!
Welcome to Inside Leverage, your gateway to the fascinating realm of the Miami Dolphins. Join us as we delve deep into the team's dynamic Super Bowl journey. We invite you to share your most scorching takes, unwind, and relish in our captivating experience.
Hey, yo, we up, though. What's up?
All right.
Patriots, baby, let's go.
Yo! Look at Fred with the Dolphins ascot. The Dolphins ascot.
Hey, listen here. All right, we're back.
All right.
All right, so we go. How y'all feeling, man? I'm saying, how you feel about that victory, man? How y'all feel?
Listen, the victory was way out of what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a low-scoring game. It was not at all. We came in there firing on offense. Defense struggled, but they came when they needed to. Bruh, it was a great win. It showed the second year of that offense was great. So we just got to keep going.
Yeah, man, I was impressed.
Yeah, I agree.
It's week one. We can't over.
I agree. I was just happy to see Tua back on the field, back to where he was at the first half of the Green Bay game. We all know the second half how that went. I believe he was going to go on a run that Green Bay game if that didn't happen to him. So I think he's just picking up where he left off, and so.
Well, I'm gonna overreact. I'm gonna make it. This was a conference win. This was a win for the ages. This was a duel. This was a shootout. You talk about Marino and shootouts that he had against Jim Kelly. We're going to be telling our kids about Tua and Herbert going back to back to back. And we already know how that story wins. Hey, great win. Great team win. All phases of the game played well. And I'm just excited that even with the special teams kerfuffle, that our defensive line showed up when we needed them the most. And I expect that. Say that word again. Our defensive line showed up exactly when we needed to. Shout out to the defensive line. Shout out to the entire room, linebackers included. Whoa.
Hold on. Hey, now. I want to check in our coach before I go at that statement. Hold on, we not doing that now. Come on.
Go ahead, coach, man. Cause this man lying. His man fresh. He wilded.
Listen, man. I get the whole positivity thing because we won, we took care of business, but we got some issues in the linebacker room here, man. I got to see some improvement this week before I start passing out, superlatives and such. I don't know what you guys think about it.
Sure. Yeah, I think definitely the linebackers need to bring it. I'm very surprised at how little David Long played. The passing game overall was good, but that run game, man, that's what I really thought David Long would have excelled in, and it just seems like he was just missing. Seemed like the entire linebacking core was missing in general, but I expect Vic Fangio to tighten all that up. He did say he felt like he didn't get the guys ready. to prepare for that. So this time around, we know that we're dealing with a team that's a really good run team, solid offensive line, solid running backs. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's imperative that we continue to do well and improve on the passing game, but also improve in the run defense. So
French is over here lying to the people, man. Anytime your safeties are your two leading tackles on this team, the line and the linebackers are terrible. We're not going to excuse go at the linebackers like it's not their fault. They're supposed to be the leaders in the tackle department, but the D-line, Wilkins registered 1. Zilla probably had 1 or 2. Like, Agba, Chubb, Raekwon Davis, all of them were terrible. We're not going to excuse nobody. When the safeties are the leading tacklers, that is bad. Period. Point blank. We're not going to sugarcoat it. Love the victory, but that's terrible when the safeties are leading tackles on this team in a game. And we brag about the front four. We brag about Christian Wilkins. We brag about Seattle. We brag about Phillips. We brag about Chubb. They need to show up this week because that was unexcusable that y'all let Holland and Elliott lead the team in tackles in that game.
I agree wholeheartedly. Chad, what do you got for us today? You got any thoughts on that along those lines?
He might be having some issues.
Yeah, I think so. Rachu Kukamanga.
We still got a few minutes for Tyler.
Yeah, he's going to be here 4:10. I got a message from him, so he'll be all right.
So if I may speak to what OG said, I thought he said it correctly, especially with our D line. I mean, yeah, in moments they came in and did what they had to do, especially on that where we had to stop them so they won't get at least a field goal, and that's cool. But we need a little bit more from those guys. We need a bit more from that front seven. You're right. We've been praising how this D line is gonna showcase that run defense that Big Vangio, they say, like to invite. You know what I'm saying? So we need better from them boys, and I think they will. I think this game, they're going to prove that they're going to be a really good run defense. I have a feeling.
I think Raekwon Davis lost his job.
Yeah, I got to agree with OG. I know that we were kind of talking about that on the timeline earlier, but that was one of the main things that I noticed is what Raekwon was invisible. There were gaps. I know there were times that he was getting double teamed, but there were times that there were gaps, just these wide open lanes for Eckler and the other running backs to run through. And at this, I know it's the first game and it's a new system and we're trying to, adjust to the personnel and whatnot. But to me personally, I see it as unacceptable at this level. You can't. I mean, you can't be. What were they averaging? Like a good 5-6 yards a carry, probably more than that, right? I can't remember.
But coach, for him, it's not the tackles. I need you to be disruptive to where other guys can benefit off that are athletic, that can make plays. You're not even making the center and the guard have to worry about you. They just double team you because you're there.
Right.
Like that pisses me off. With Baker, we criticize Baker because when he get engaged, he doesn't fight after that. Raekwon Davis is not fighting.
Yeah.
Like that pissing me off. And I said if he played like he should, we would have a top 5 defense for sure. Because we need that disruptor in the middle. That frees Wilkins and Davis, Chubb, everybody down the line, Phillips, everything. But it starts with that player there, the zero tech. It starts there.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Anybody else got any thoughts on that?
I mean, overall, I think that we were inviting and allowing them to run the football. I just think they got more than we would have liked. Some of the run fits as far as the linebackers and gap integrity wasn't really a focus of some of these guys. They were trying.
The hell was that?
Welcome to the show, Tyler. Just a little welcome for Tyler. Welcome.
How you guys doing?
What's going on, man?
Yeah, it's a pleasure to finally meet you, man. We love your your content on Twitter, man. You really bring some good work, man. You're one of the few guys we wanted to bring you here. So appreciate you coming through.
I'm happy to be here. I really appreciate that. Obviously, this is a big game. Should be really interesting. I feel like this is kind of could be a strength on strength and weakness on weakness kind of thing. I feel like where the Patriots are good matches up with where we're good. Where we've struggled last week, Patriots are kind of struggling at the same stuff. So could be a really fun matchup.
Before we continue, I want to remind everybody, look at the speaking part of it. There's a stream and there's a stage. We'll be showing some of Tyler's film breakdown. So if you want us to kind of talk while you watch the film and you kind of get an explanation and stuff like that, just you got the control area there. So anybody want to kind of hear us talk while you watch the film, that's the great part about playback. So kind of can do that.
Yeah. So Tyler, just to ask you a quick question. If we know Fangio's defensive scheme doesn't really call for the blitz and the pass rush has to generate its own pressure, what do you see this defensive line doing, especially with maybe backups in?
I mean, I think these guys are – I mean, obviously I think the guys are more than capable of getting pressure in the pass game. I think that shouldn't be as much of an issue. This Patriots offensive line, like you said, is banged up. They're in a position where their only starter this week could be their center. So it could be, a very tough matchup for them. I think where Miami's defensive line becomes more of a concern is the run game, where a lot of these guys aren't necessarily Fangio fits. And in the pass rush, you can kind of just ask these guys to go eat one-on-one. But in the run game, a lot of the Fangio stuff is you're playing your role specifically rather than allowing these guys to go just kind of do the one-on-one attacking stuff that they did under Flores and Boyer.
Okay.
We'll definitely look at the film of the Chargers game to kind of see that, and then of course, get your thoughts on the keys to the game for both defensive offense. What about the offensive side, real quick? Wanted to kind of get your thoughts. How did you feel they handled things? What are some good and bad things that you saw during your film breakdown?
I mean, obviously it's largely good. I feel like, it's the best game of Tua's career to this point, and is that all 100% him? No, but the stuff that he was able to do is phenomenal and stuff that we haven't seen from him before. The fact that pretty much every time he broke the pocket, he was creating in a positive way is huge for him. I think we saw a lot more full field progression from Tua. It was less, here I'm going to read this key defender, and then depending on what he does, I'm going to operate that way. McDaniel seemed to be more comfortable giving him like 5 wide, like full field read kind of looks and allowing him to like judge post snap like what the defense was doing. And the Chargers tried their hardest to give Tua a lot of post snap rotation, which in the past has been the key to stopping him, and this time it simply wasn't. So he was great. Obviously, I think Mike McDaniel had a stellar game. A lot of people get on him for not running the ball enough, but I think that's just the game position you were in. When every time you're passing the ball, you're pretty much getting 10 yards. I don't know why you would stop it, especially in a game where you were unable to get a stop until the fourth quarter pretty much. So I don't really get on him for that. I think the run game looked solid in the beginning. Chargers defense had some good reps, but it was going to be a passing game, and that's the way that it dictated, so I'm not going to get on him for that. Offensive line, I think Tua probably deserves a little more credit than he's getting for the game, and the offensive line might be getting a little bit like more credit than they should be, just because I think there were a lot of times where they were getting pressured and Tua was getting up the ball out fast. He did a great job like finding his hots, throwing directly against blitzes. He was doing a great job of that, and even when he was under pressure, breaking the pocket, that kind of thing. Overall, it's a really strong offensive performance against a team that was doing something that we weren't sure how sustainable their defense was going to be, and Miami made sure it wasn't. So it's going to be really intriguing to see how it kind of matches up against a team that specializes in more of the stuff that Miami can struggle against.
Okay.
All right. Well, Tyler, definitely want to appreciate you again, man, for coming on and giving us some of your time. We love your work, man. You've been doing a lot of great things as far as breaking down film. How did you get started with get into football and get into the Dolphins and breaking down film? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, I mean, I've been a Dolphins fan for as long as I can remember. I'm from South Florida. I mean, now I'm in Tallahassee. I'm in college at FSU, but I've been in South Florida my entire life. My dad was a fan. He kind of became a fan as he got older, and then once he passed it on to me, I was like, this is something I'm really interested in, and I just kind of kept going with it. I would say when I started taking it seriously and analysis kind of stuff was 3 years ago, probably 2-3 years ago, and then since then I've just been hitting the ground running, just trying to do as much as possible to learn, figure things out.
Right. Well, guys, you guys want to go ahead and get into this breakdown, man? Let's get to the good stuff.
It's the nitty gritty, baby.
Okay, this is what I would really wanted to come and talk about.
All right, Tyler, you can
see what you saw.
Tyler, go ahead and you can be the captain of this ship. I'm just gonna press play here, and you let me know what you need me to do.
All right, cool. All right, if you want to just pause it, go to the pre-snap, pretty much. That'd be great. Just what it looks like. Okay, so basically these first couple clips are just showing how many ways that Miami works out of these different looks and how they're going to get to that slant wheel game. This one's more traditional and closer to what they were running last year, except as you see, there's no full field motion. This is Alec Ingold starting offset, essentially F tight end slot receiver kind of thing. And they're going to run it exactly or pretty similarly to how they did it last year. Like I said, just a half motion instead of a full motion. And it really doesn't matter who they have out there. They're going to run this, and look how effective it is if you want to roll it.
Is this a 21 personnel? Or,
yeah, it's 21. And the way that they come out in these personnel and then still make it a passing look, even to a guy like Alec Ingold, the fullback, I think that's just super huge. The fact that they're able to dictate personnel, get the Chargers coming out heavy, and then you have a guy like Kendricks who's now playing over to try to get to the outside, and it allows Ingold to spring free for a big gain. These are the kind of things that Miami's just kind of turned this quick game, and knowing that Tua is so good operating these RPOs, they've just turned them into huge chunk plays. They've moved the slants farther back than most of the teams in the league because they know that Tua can hit it in the intermediate. So instead of turning, a simple quick slant into a play that is, instead of having a simple quick slant, you're going to see Craycraft kind of cuts farther deep. I have other plays like it too. Really nice play.
I really like how he set up the receiver to be able to transition smoothly to get more additional yards. I really like that move.
Yeah, exactly. And then this is something that I think is really interesting because everyone kind of talks about the slant wheel concept as an RPO for Miami, but here they come out in an empty look. And like I said, the fact that slant isn't 5 yards down the field. Instead, if you want to pause it right as Craycraft's breaking.
Yeah, because that was crazy.
Yeah, look at how much deeper this is. Tua's letting this go. I mean, what's the line of scrimmage here? It's at least 7 to 10 down the field.
But look at the play concept and where he can look at with this. Who is this at the top of the screen right there at the 30, looking like he could be? Who is that? Did Tua miss a touchdown? That's
what's funny about this play and why I brought it and why I showed it is I think that Miami's going to do more operating with this to try to scare teams with the slant wheel that they run so many times a game. If you look at the bottom of the screen, both of these guys get wide open. I wonder what Darrell Bevel and Mike McDaniel both came out. I think it was Frank Smith too. And something that they were talking about heavily was complementary plays, talking about, hey, maybe you've seen the Durham Smythe orbit motion that we ran at one point in the game, but you haven't seen the play that doesn't involve us throwing it to Tyreek. There's a lot of plays that they're going to have that it seems like they don't come up with one without coming up with another. So being able to operate this out of 5 wide and already scaring teams like this, especially when it's middle of the field closed, single high safety, and you're still getting this kind of big gain, now teams are going to key in on this, and potentially you might see something on the backside depending on the look they get.
Right, I'm excited on them being able to build off of this empty set.
Yeah,
we got a ton of talent and ability at those positions.
Yeah, and Tua's been a baller in it. I mean, like, whenever Miami has like a go-to and they need to go get something, it's largely been a Tua empty look. We saw it against the Ravens last year. We've seen it all the time. They love giving him empty, letting him kind of pick a side depending on. Sometimes they'll do a zone coverage side and a man coverage side, where they'll have a zone beater on one side and just let him decipher pre-snap what he thinks the coverage is going to be. Pick a side, usually a quick release play like that where, it becomes a big chunk play. This one's another example, but this one's kind of showing the more traditional look that they've run and how if teams even key in on the other stuff, you might still be able to get guys open. Here they kind of counter with it a little bit because if you look on the left side, that's River Craycraft lined up as a tight end, and you might think, yeah, he's the guy who you're looking at to go in motion, run this wheel, the slant. But the Chargers don't cover it up bad if you want to roll it. And what they actually do is they're going to sneak Durham Smythe in behind and run their more traditional RPO. And even though the Chargers were equipped to stop the other one, because they have Durham Smythe running in behind, it creates another big play, 10 yards, first down. Just the amount of things that they can do off of this one half-field concept, it's kind of huge. And the fact that this isn't even like a personnel grouping that you're really scared of. I mean, this is what, 12 personnel, 21? Or maybe 22 actually. No, it's 21 personnel. And I mean, you've got Ingold and Smythe on the right side, Mostert in the backfield, and then Craycraft and Jalen Waddle. There's only, one guy you're truly that scared of as a passing game weapon. And because you're able to kind of draw him towards the middle of the field, draw Smythe in behind him, you can create big plays, even with guys that teams might not be super afraid of.
But Tyler,
it's kind of interesting.
Hold on,
the personnel, it kind of makes it look heavy.
Tyler,
yeah, that's the biggest. What were you saying?
Would you admit if that guy doesn't come off the edge, that Waddle is barbecue chicken wide open with all that space in front of him? Because if you look where Waddle is when he's throwing the ball, if that blitz wasn't there, Waddle has just the safety to beat. That's to the house.
Honestly, if I wouldn't be shocked if they ran the run read if the edge doesn't come off either. Potentially try to throw a back shoulder. I mean, I think it depends on the in-game situation. I think with the linebacker kind of playing the middle, you might have to be a beat late, and the problem with running an RPO a beat late is you might get ineligible man downfield penalties.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that Tua is able to time this off the blitz, pretty good. And then as you're looking, they've got nobody down the field, and then Craycraft lays a block and he gets a first down. So I think it all depends on the scenario. That's why you've seen this break for so many big gains depending on where they run it. This is another prime example of like how teams are super afraid of this. The Chargers in the game last year, they were so dedicated to stopping this that if they saw a stack to one side or if they saw the passing strength of the formation with two wide receivers, that was the side that they were going to play deep because they knew that that's the side you're typically going to have a wheel or a fade on. And then if they have a crosser, they have a guy like Derwin James who's on the right side here who could potentially go in and play a robber and go get it. But Miami used that to their advantage here. They come out in the stack like they're going to run the slant wheel. And if you want to roll it here, that simply isn't what they get. This is what I was talking about with complementary plays. Durham Smythe comes out on the orbit motion. And if you look at him, he's also wide open. But they take advantage of Derwin James dropping down into the – yeah. And it's just – if you look when Durham Smythe runs that orbit motion, you get Derwin James just creeping down that little extra bit. And then because you're playing a team that runs so much press coverage, Tyreek Hill is going to cook whoever's across from him, and then Tua puts this on the money. This is just the kind of stuff like, look at how many assets the Chargers are using to defending the left side of the field.
Right.
They've got this deep safety. They've got this linebacker who's occupied by the tight end over the middle right here. And then Miami's still got a nice protection going. And because they put a guy like Mostert in the flat, there just aren't that many guys that you can dedicate to Tyreek Hill because teams are so, determined to go out of their way to try to stop what could be a slant wheel. And in this situation, it isn't even one. You've got a spot, and then I think this might be an out route or something on the other side.
Tyler, explain this to me again. Why would they drop that Derwin James down and keep that other safety up when the threat itself in Tyreek can like beat the man in front of them? So they had that much confidence that they were comfortable with dropping him down that way? Like, explain that to me again. That's crazy.
I mean, do I think it's the right decision? Obviously not. They got burned for a 35-yard touchdown here. But I think if you want to just leave it right there, I think what happens is usually the Chargers like to rock and roll these safeties around, and they like to have one that kind of plays the box to play a potential crosser, and then they have another guy who's potentially like this deep safety who's gonna play whatever comes over to that side, like if it's the wheel, and they want somebody that in case somebody gets beat over the middle, Derwin James is a smart enough and really aggressive enough player that he can come down and go get that. And when you add the fact that Miami just kind of changed the passing strength of this formation by moving Durham Smythe from the right to the left, you've now only got two guys on this side. And because LA pretty much said we're more afraid of the stacks and the fact that Miami can get whoever they want open out of these looks than we are of individual players. That's kind of how Tyreek Hill gets open. You've got to be keyed in on where Tyreek is at all times. And the problem with that is maybe you're dedicating more assets to him, and Miami's proven that they can get guys open out of these looks. I mean, even Barrios here cuts open towards the sideline on the opposite side.
Right.
Even with LA dedicating those assets.
That's crazy. I guess they felt themselves last year because of how they locked us down or gave Tyreek trouble, but that's crazy.
Yeah, and because Miami didn't motion Tyreek, they weren't playing that side to be their heavy side. Because Miami's able to flood that, and they have a receiver that's so good that they can send him just one-on-one. They knew they were going to get the look they wanted. They got it a bunch last year and just didn't hit it, and this time they get it and they hit it. So this is just showing – this one's pretty simple. It's basically showing how Miami's using their motion this year and how much more stuff they can build upon it because of the fact that you've now allowed Tyreek Hill a little extra time to gain his momentum, which means that he can cut more on a dime. Last year, they had him jetting all the way across the formation. Then he has to take wider turns. But if you look at him here, lined up essentially again as a tight end, he's able to cut faster. Because Tyreek Hill is so fast, you only need him running about 70% speed to even, burn past guys. And here now he's able to take advantage of leverage and the fact that corners are going to have to play off because you really can't jam him as much coming off this motion. He burns them on the dig. And what's really funny about this is River Craycraft, if you want to go back to the beginning, is getting pressed in – River Craycraft is getting pressed on what is supposed to be a dagger concept, meaning that Craycraft's going to clear out the safety, and then Tyreek just runs right under the safety for a big gain. But because Tyreek Hill's so fast and this safety is backing up to respect his speed, he just cuts right across his face anyway without the need for the clear out, and then it becomes a huge gain. And then this one, I want to say this is the 3rd and 10 ball to Tyreek. This is another prime example of how Miami uses their how LA was so dedicated to stopping Tua over the middle of the field that they weren't respecting some of the players that Miami has. And the problem is when you respect the players Miami has, then they go right back to the middle of the field. It kind of creates some conflict. And here, if you look pre-snap, this looks like a look Miami potentially wants. We don't know what Derwin James is going to do yet. He's been bouncing around. You see him now in the middle of the field. But being a two-high look, this might be what Miami wants. You've got Jalen Waddle. He's going to run his little slant. As I said, it's a deeper one where they're going to run it about 10 to 12 yards up, and we don't know what's going to happen there. If you look at Derwin James, now he's rotating post-snap, and Tua recognizes this. I mean, if you want to stop it right as Tua's about a step or just right there about, Tua's separating his hands right here probably a second later, and he's ready to throw this ball. But the thing is the Chargers now rotated this coverage to be a middle of the field closed coverage. They're dedicating so many assets to stopping the middle of the field. This is cover one double robbers. So you've got this safety that is right near Jalen Waddle. You've got him coming down if Waddle runs the slant. You've got another safety over here if somebody else from the opposite field runs something. And then you've got that safety could also cover a crosser from Waddle. They've dedicated so much time to this. And Miami threw in a little wrinkle here if you want to go right back to the beginning and just run it from the top. One of the things that Miami implemented here that was a really cool little wrinkle to me is that it wasn't necessarily a wheel from Tyreek Hill. This time it's a delay fade because they knew they were going to get man coverage. And Tyreek, rather than having to run up the seam, is now just going to take this guy one-on-one. Tua steps up, pump fakes his throw, doesn't throw it over the middle to what would have been a contested catch. Instead, this is the kind of stuff that now adds a whole nother layer to his game, because
Goodness.
if teams are now going to have to be scared of the wheel more often and not like we saw it to Ingold where it's just like 5 yards down the field, they've got to be scared of it 30 yards down the field. Teams are going to have to dedicate a whole lot more to defending deep, which, again, is just going to open up more over the middle, which is what Miami ultimately wants to get back to. Is there a way to go back to this one? Is this I have more on Tua. I don't know where it is. But...
Nah, I probably jumped ahead here. Here we go. I got it. It should be coming up.
Okay, cool. This again, another prime example of is this the same play or is this? No, this is a different one. This is a different one.
Yeah.
Okay. This is another example of Tua working out of structure. Miami runs again the same stack, and this one's just—it's beautiful. I mean,
yeah. To me, this was the play of the game. To be honest with you,
this is my favorite.
Can you go back to that play really quick? Like let it play and pause it at the end.
I think I also have the end zone angle of this too.
Look. Just look at the fans. The fans knew it too. They're putting their hands like the play concept and the route concept. This
is mad
genius.
Yeah, and if you could go back to the
sure,
if you could go back to the sideline angle, the all 22 angle, that would be great. Just so I could talk about the pre-snap. Again, this is Miami saying that we have so many receivers who are really good off of stacks, and we don't want you to be able to press one of them, that they're just going to keep lining up in this stack, and teams are scared of what they're going to see. So instead of this, you've got pretty much Tyreek running a clear out. They want Berrios this whole way. They know that they have the potential for middle of the field open coverage. Looks like it could be a two-man look, and they know this, and their goal is to go out here and get it to Berrios coming over the middle, and they're going to run Tyreek, like I said, clear out, Jalen Waddle clear out. But the fact that Tua, if you want to just roll it now, the fact that Tua is able to see this and notice, hey, I might have a lane to step up, and then on the fly, this is a testament to his core strength now that he's able to spring out of the pocket like this and then just fling that from the 9 to about the 37. This one was –
and that's cross his body.
Yeah.
And
that's in the end zone too. Yeah,
Can you break that down? Running across his body, running to the left, throwing across his body. How many yards?
About, was it like 27, 28 or something like that? 29, I think. He lets it go from about, that's the 9-yard line to the 37. It's a 28-yard throw on the money on the
And
road.
that was for the first, and to make, if Pat Mahomes did that, that would have been, that would have let ESPN.
To me, that was a throw of the game to me. Like that was the most impressive throws of all of them, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
This one is, I mean, it's just money. The first 2 plays of the drive, you don't get anywhere. It's not 3rd and 15. Like they're backing up, dedicating. And that's the thing. This is what makes Miami so dangerous is the fact that it's an obvious passing situation and they still get the look they want. And even when, the pressure gets home up front, if you have the added layer of Tua being able to make something happen out of the pocket, all of a sudden, you could think you have them dead to rights, and that was the problem last year is if you had Miami dead to rights, you weren't often getting a play extension from Tua, and now that you are, it makes it so much harder to stop. And I think the fact that his strength, his arm strength, body strength, all of it's on display here, and it's obviously improved. I mean, I want to see the release point on this because if you look at it, he's pretty much like jumping to throw this. He springs off of 1 foot. It's awesome stuff right here. Look at how fast this release is. Just on the move, boom. Like even when he's on the move, the windup isn't even there. He's just flicking.
I wish we had to watch that play in slow-mo.
I get it, but I got to push back. To me, that's crucial being backed up to where he was at. But that one-legged throw to Tyreek down the sideline because of what happened the plays before that, to me, that was the throw of the game for me.
I agree with you. I think this one's an awesome throw. I would still pick the other one just because it flipped the script for Miami so much because it was 3rd and 10, backed up, and now you're in plus territory on a drive where you need a touchdown. Like I think that one was the throw of the game for me. But this one is just, I think it's so impressive because it shows just a combination of everything Tua's work done in strength and how Miami has changed their looks around. and just the amount of trust that they now have into it to go make plays on the move, and the fact that because he was able to make so many plays throughout the game, and now the Chargers are dedicating a lot of guys to him deep, he's making them pay even off script. Just the flick right here is insane.
I mean, can we go to that play one more time and look at AJ? The look at the tackle take on Bosa. Like, that's a great rep. That's a great rep for him right there. Like,
yeah, they've got 5-on-4 here. If you want to roll it, they move. Does Smythe jet out or does he chip? Yeah, no. I mean, the fact that Miami was able to communicate that semi-well.
That's a pancake.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a little bit of like, you probably want them to communicate that stunt better in other times, but I think the fact that they were just able to get enough there that Tua could get out of the pocket, it worked. I mean, obviously, a lot of that, the pocket did collapse eventually, but the fact that you're able to get
but that's one thing about the offensive line. People don't always pay attention. Sometimes you just need the offensive line to do just enough. You don't need to be perfect on every. Just give me just enough. Just enough.
And that's the thing with Austin Jackson that I've noticed that I've been really happy with is, sometimes his hand placement isn't great. Sometimes he's going to get bowled over by a bull rush. But the biggest thing with him is I've noticed he's in the right spot a lot more often this year in preseason, in the regular season. It's just been in the passing game, he's getting to his landmarks better. And being a guy that you knew wasn't the strongest and you knew could get beat on a bull rush, the fact that he's not getting beat as badly by speed rushes and he's able to just kind of get to a spot, and even if he gets beat, he's laying hands on them at all, that's an upgrade for Austin Jackson and somebody who's already been substantially better in the run game as well. I wouldn't be shocked if he just starts kind of taking steps the more that he's in this system and the more that, we see him go up against guys who aren't Joey Bosa throughout the year. This play right here. This is, I think, one of the last off-script plays from Tua. This is a counter to the stuff that they were running earlier in the game because, this now is showing what it's really nice for McDaniel and it's really great from Tua because it shows what Miami can now do going off the short motion. Like I said, Tyreek Hill off the long motion, it had to be a deeper developing route because he couldn't stop on a dime because he was already running so fast. But now that you've got him off of the short motion, he's able to do things like this where it's a stop route and he gets relatively open. It's throwable. It would have been a tough catch. And they've got Jalen Waddle running a corner, essentially a smash concept. You can read it high to low, see if you're in zone, see what you get. This time they're in man. It's a somewhat throwable ball, but Tua here, just the ability to get out and get to that next progression, then put the ball on Berrios in between the corner and the safety so Berrios doesn't get nailed. That's where the special stuff comes on plays like this. This is just the kind of stuff that, like I said, you weren't getting last year. And if you can get it this year, it's an added bonus. And it seemed like every time Tua broke the pocket, he was making a play. So this is awesome stuff. But I think that I wouldn't be surprised if you see more looks like that from McDaniel, where it is, the motion from Tyreek, and instead of having to run a comeback route 15 yards down the field, he can run a stop 5 yards down the field. And now you're getting corners who might be trying to bail and chase after him, and then all of a sudden they're in the dust and they can turn 5 into 15 into 20. And
that's what I'm thinking we're gonna probably talk about pretty soon as far as the Patriots and kind of what you think the approach might be in a few minutes. Yeah, man, this is great stuff, man. Again, appreciate you for coming through.
Of course. And this is the last off-script play from Tua. Again, it looks like this could be it looks like Miami's trying to go to the stuff that they've done before. And you see Tua reading this immediately. And the fact that Tua's turning down on plays like this, he's not going to these double-covered routes. This is the kind of stuff that I'm really impressed with from him. Again, Miami Tyreek short motion. You've got Jalen Waddle, and he stops here. And if he cuts into this linebacker and Tua tries to rip this is very likely either an interception or a really tough catch, and it's short of the sticks. But the fact that Tua is able to break out of this pocket, and it's not necessarily a bailout because of the fact that there's nothing open to the side he was throwing to. Smythe does a really good job stopping. And again, this is really nice velocity from Tua on the move, finding an open guy, really accurate. Just there were so many times over the first couple years of his career where he would see these guys and you knew the vision was there, but he would spike it. Or it would be high and outside, or it would just be somewhere where it couldn't be, and it would turn into a bad play. But here you see it at full speed. just the combination of velocity and accuracy right here, it's huge. It's giving teams another factor that they need to worry about. He doesn't have to be Mahomes, but if he can hit one of those plays every so often, you're going to get big. You're going to get big plays out of Miami.
Facts.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler. Let's take our defense here.
Yeah, this is kind of those first couple things were kind of like my big standouts for Miami's offense. There wasn't much on the run game. I think that Miami was showing with their run game that they could get to more looks. They had Eric Ezukama get 2 pitches out of the backfield. They've made it clear that they want to get more exotic in the run game. I didn't show much of it because, like I said, they didn't have many attempts. But here is where I think we might see some flaws with the Fangio defense. Honestly, this one, you don't really need to look at it much more than pre-snap because I think it just shows the structure of the Fangio defense and what, like, when you're playing against a quarterback as scary as Justin Herbert, how you're going to play your defense. And if you look at the pre-snap look right here, Miami's got 2 safeties back like 15, 20 yards off the ball, which is where you're just – I mean, you've got 2 very rangy safeties in Javon Holland and Deshaun Elliott. They're both known for making plays and run support. They're good pursuit guys. But playing them this far off the ball, you're getting in positions where in a too high look, you know that there's a run coming. This is kind of where you might see the downfalls and where you're going to ask a lot from your linebackers and from your defensive line. And it just doesn't happen here. Austin Eckler comes up the middle. I believe the next play is the end zone angle where we can kind of break down what went wrong up front.
Do you feel like who's that? That looks like it's 51, David Long. Do you feel like he took the wrong gap? Because it does look like with the center and left guard, or I'm sorry, is it the right guard or the center? The way that Roquan set it up, I think he could have went to that other A gap instead of going to the play side B A gap. I don't know if I'm making any sense. But it just looked like David Long took the wrong.
If you want to go to the next clip, I believe the next clip is the end zone angle of this, so we can see better what's going on up front. But I think there's definitely a little bit going on. If this is definitely something you're probably going to want to slow down. I think the problem is Miami's asking a lot from their linebackers because of the fact that they don't necessarily have Vic Fangio's preferred personnel up front, and that was kind of what I was showing on this play. You've got guys who for years have been in a Brian Flores system where they've been able to just kind of eat, and now there's a lot more reading and reacting. If you look at, I'm pretty sure when this play starts, you've got Christian Wilkins trying to play 2 gaps, and then you've also got Raekwon Davis trying to play 2 gaps, and that's just something that they haven't done as much. And then you're leaving, there has to be a right guess as to where this run is going pretty much at the snap now from either David Long or Jerome Baker. I don't think this is as much a David Long issue. He kind of played the only gap on his side. Asking him to wash over, you might have a cutback lane. I'm not really going to blame him. But now you're kind of in a situation that because Wilkins gets mauled kind of out of 2-gapping this, you're now asking for Jerome Baker to make the right guess, and he just wasn't there to make the right play. And then you've got Javon Holland and Deshaun Elliott over pursuing. It's just kind of a combination of factors, but I think it starts out with the upfront, just the fact that you're asking Christian Wilkins to play this B and C gap right here. And if he doesn't get either a ton of push or read and react to this perfectly, you're in a bad situation. And being a guy who's a bit undersized as Wilkins is, he gets moved by the chip, and then the lineman's able to get 2 hands on him. He tries to get backside, and all of a sudden it's a huge gain.
I feel like he's got to get off that block. He's got to get off that block. And for the linebackers, it seems like they made preemptive moves, both to opposite directions, and they left a void in the middle of the defense.
Agreed.
Because you can see, like, David Long, he takes a immediate step up towards the right side of Raekwon Davis, in between Raekwon Davis and Zach Sealer, and then Jerome Baker, he runs directly into the tight end. Is that the tight end right there?
Yeah,
on the outside. Right.
and then they're looking for Wilkins to be able to play that inside better. This guard does an awesome job sealing Wilkins off, even after there's chip help that's kind of forcing him inside. And because Jerome Baker's kind of wide, Wilkins is trying to play both gaps here in case something opens up. And now you're just in a situation where you've got kind of guys who are typically undersized for Fangio. Raekwon Davis lost some weight in the offseason. We've heard about him slimming down.
Look at him.
He's getting mauled.
Yeah.
He's got Zach Sealer, who's playing on the backside, not playing it poorly or anything, but he's just out of the play. And then you're asking so many players to do so much that's out of their comfort zone. I wonder what the move is for Fangio. Is it kind of maybe I go to some more typical stuff up front and maybe just try to let these guys eat? But knowing Fangio, the fact that this guy has stuck to this philosophy for so long, and the biggest thing you hear about Fangio's defense is he's going to stick to it, and it's going to work when it's going to work, and it's going to not work when it doesn't. He's a stubborn guy. I wonder what the next move is, what the chess piece is as far as making these plays. Is it moving safeties farther up because you've got guys like Javon Holland who can make plays in the run game? Is it, moving around your linebackers more? It's an interesting bit here.
Do you think a big nickel will probably something that they'll implement this coming game with facing another run offense?
Yeah, this is the thing I was kind of thinking of. I wonder if you could kind of go to a big nickel. I kind of wish you had a more traditional free safety, and then you could move Javon Holland down and kind of make him a nickel, and then allow him to kind of play a little bit of both. That's kind of what I've been advocating for all offseason, just because I know how good of a heat-seeking missile Javon Holland can be. He made a lot of good run stops in this game, to be honest. I don't hate the idea of a Brandon Jones, but I think the problem with playing a guy like Brandon Jones down here is if he gets caught in coverage, are we viewing him as a liability? Is that a matchup you want? Javon Holland, I feel like you could put him on a tight end or a slot receiver and you're not as worried. But with a guy like a Brandon Jones, it gets weird. And then if you are playing a big nickel, our team's just going to go big on you as well, or just going to go bigger on you because they're anticipating that you're going to be trying to stop the run. Are they just going to put tight ends on you and have, if for the Patriots, is it going to be Mike Gesicki working on Brandon Jones for a lot of the game? Is it going to be when they want to run the ball? Are they just going to go two tight ends and kind of maul you? These are the kind of decisions that you got to make. And Fangio was kind of trying to make them even in this game, and it just didn't seem to work out. Here we've got another running play and another prime example of how Miami just is struggling badly up front, and it's causing their linebackers to look not great. This is a guard tackle counter, and I think you're just showing how much if you want to show this in slow motion, it's showing how much these guys are getting moved and how you're asking for so much to go right for Miami to get a run stop with this personnel, especially the guys in the front four. This one, you've got Raekwon Davis, but then you've got Christian Wilkins being pushed away from the ball. Zach Sealer gets a double team and gets moved completely out of the hole. These aren't guys who are traditional gap eaters. And now because of the fact that, they're facing double teams as undersized guys, and they're not really being asked to fight them. They're more being asked to read and react. If you look at Wilkins, you look at Sealer, and you look at Davis, they're all trying to plant their hands to get extension and then to read so they can two-gap it, rather than just trying to rip past these guys and go make plays. And this just is more outside of their traditional role. Each one of them, you can see them trying to drive the hands in so they can read and react and then allow linebackers to come down. But the Chargers made it clear they didn't want to run at David Long. They were running more so at Baker, and then you're asking him to make a decision here. You got David Long over pursuing, trying to make up for that decision. You've just got a domino effect where if these guys are getting moved off the ball, then you've got Jerome Baker that has to make a split-second decision. And if that split-second decision for a guy who's not a great run-stuffing linebacker is wrong, you've turned a gain that can be 2 yards into 7 yards. And it's just there's a big domino effect going on, and I think it's starting up front with the defensive line.
Right.
I think a lot of it comes down to them not having a nose, because I think as much as Raekwon Davis is a
Thank
nose
you.
tackle. He's not a traditional nose tackle, and he's not somebody who's really going to eat space. Like Brian Flores brought him in because he saw the freakish stuff at Alabama, where it was him getting off the line fast and becoming an interior pressure guy. And now you're asking him to be, more of like the old school nose tackle type, where it's just sit in the middle, be huge, and don't get mauled.
like a Vince Wilfork type.
But I
Yeah,
don't
you're
think he has to
asking him.
build for it. He's
That's what I'm
really
saying.
tall and lengthy. He reminds me more of a DeForest Buckner, Calais Campbell type. I feel like he should be more at the 3-tech 4-eye and stuff like that. I don't really like him so much at the 0.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Daryl Gardner a little bit, but Gardner was obviously better.
Hey Taylor, when I told him that Fangio might not have these guys might not fit and that he might not have his guys, they tried to kick me off the internet, Tyler. So I'm just saying, thank you. I appreciate you telling them what I was trying to tell them. So I'm glad they hear it from you because they don't believe somebody that be with them. That's all.
But Tyler, before you begin, do you feel that they can adjust based on their skill set? Because I do agree. It seems like for this game, for what Vic Fangio's asking of them, it didn't bode well. Maybe they can improve. Do you feel like they will make adjustments based on their skill set?
See, this is the thing. Honestly, I wish I could tell you. I have no idea. And the reason I say that is just because Vic Fangio is known for sticking to his stuff. But the fact that Miami hasn't gone out of their way to kind of go get guys yet, the fact that they haven't been super aggressive, they just brought up Deshaun Hand from the practice squad, who I see the comment here asking if he can be the nose. He's definitely not going to be a nose. He's going to be more of like a rotational, like kind of what Zach Sealer and Christian Wilkins are playing, like a 3-tech type. But I mean, he somehow like more so fits the role a little bit, but the fact that they haven't gone out and addressed it makes me feel like we could see a bigger adjustment from Fangio as far as maybe it is a big nickel. Maybe it is just asking these guys to more so just kind of, play their one-on-one ISO ball that they've been so good at over the last couple of years until you go get that guy. I'm really intrigued to see what it is. I don't know really what that next move is, and that's kind of why I'm a little worried depending on how good the Patriots offensive line and how healthy they are, just because they've been really susceptible to those double teams, to the fact that they're forcing linebackers to make decisions. And now Miami, as you see on this play, has already, essentially benched David Long in nickel scenarios.
Yeah, based on what Vic Fangio says, he said that he didn't do a good job of preparing the guys. So I'm interested to see what kind of adjustments they make. I'm wondering if they go more 5-man front against New England. But one thing that through our conversations with the Patriots beat writers and some people that we spoke with this week on the Spaces was that their offensive line is pretty banged up, and especially at tackle with Trent Brown and his concussion. That could be a big opportunity for a guy like Bradley Chubb to get some things going, and maybe Emmanuel Ogbah and some of these other guys that we're banking on and looking for more production out of can have an opportunity up against a banged up offensive line. I do expect New England to do a lot of heavy though. So
yeah, it could be a get right game for Miami. Like up front, I think it just comes down to like, can they take advantage of it, or I really do think that a big adjustment could be like allowing these guys to play more aggressively. And, maybe that gets you burnt a couple more times than it was, but maybe it also makes a couple extra big plays because, Miami got burned a couple times in this game, but you weren't seeing that many run stops. Maybe allowing them to just go kind of play their one-on-one game and just kind of freeing up stuff that way. I don't know. If you want to look at this play here, it's kind of a similar look. They're going to look. Christian Wilkins gets trapped there. They're allowing him to come up. And this time they're feeding off of his aggressiveness and the fact that, he hasn't gotten much the entire game. They're making him come play up. If you want to run it again in slow motion, you've got on the other side a double team on Raekwon Davis, who I'm saying is not your traditional space-eating nose and is not just holding that gap. He gets moved off the ball. Jerome Baker's forced to come up. And then if you look at Andrew Van Ginkel, he's now completely out of the play because he's trying to go play the tight end. And now because you've got a guy like Raekwon Davis who's been pushed a gap or two over, this is all of a sudden a massive hole for a guy like Austin Eckler.
What is Jerome Baker doing? Like, what is going on?
Jerome, like, this is the thing, is that Miami, I mean, like, this is kind of, they want to be able to eat the gap, kind of play you back into it's more so, in my opinion, Raekwon Davis here, because that double team pushes him like 2 gaps over.
Yeah, it does. Right.
And then, because if Raekwon holds his space, Jerome Baker's going to sit there, read, react, crash the ball. And because there's no ball to crash there because there's so much space, it looks like a lot worse of a play from him. And then you've got Javon Holland who has to come up and save this thing with with Jalen Phillips.
All right, so we got.
We had a guy that can really just slip that block right there and just get off.
Yeah, it's weird because I wonder if we see more in their base personnel, because I guess Andrew Van Ginkel is going to be the nickel linebacker now. I wonder if you see more long Van Ginkel to kind of play the run, but then are you scared that you're going to get beat in the pass game and teams start manipulating personnel and kind of getting you bad matchups in zone? I'm very intrigued to see how Fangio does it, especially, given it's only the second game we have of this defense.
Right.
If you're with the Patriots offense, because I'm not really scared of their skill guys. What do you think?
What were you saying? Sorry, a lot of that cut out for me.
I would say, based on what you were saying about how AVG might be on a nickel and with David Long, you're mentioning about being scared with the pass defense. Are you scared with the Patriots offense to succeed? Because I'm not scared against their skill set players.
I'm not necessarily scared of their skill guys. It's just more so that, honestly, in week 1, I felt like Bill O'Brien put together – the clip might be there of what Bill O'Brien kind of did to another Fangio-style defense led by Sean Desai and the Eagles. I feel like Bill O'Brien did a really good job game planning that game and kind of attacking the Eagles when they were in pass sets. They came out in a ton of bunch and essentially were flooding guys' zones by having, somebody come up and take, somebody that had to come up, and because they have corners, these apex defenders that are having to play if something comes over the middle, but also playing if something goes to the flat, they would have somebody run up the pipe and pretty much take both of those defenders and then flood the area with something running in behind. I don't know if the clip is there. I think I uploaded it to the drive. It's like a minute or so, and it's mixed results, but it's showing what the Patriots did to the Eagles and the fact that they ran out so many of these bunches. I was talking to Taylor Kyles. I did one of his film breakdowns. I know you guys had him on. He was talking about how we could see a lot of this. I think this is kind of what their answer could be in the pass game, and I'm interested to see if that's something that could kind of give Miami some trouble, especially given the fact that we obviously aren't as healthy as we could be on the back end. No Jalen Ramsey. I think it's going to come down to, can these guys be aggressive enough to play them out of their bunch looks and hopefully put them in more, obvious scenarios.
Yeah, this is the actual video that you sent me today. So just let me know how we want to run this through and just let it ride.
Is it on my screen? It's still loading. I don't know if it's.
Oh, okay.
Real quick, I want to ask you, what are your keys to on both offense and defense while we wait for the video to play?
Sure. I think one of the we can just pause it for now because I'll just go through the keys real quick. I think on defense, it's going to be, can you take advantage of a New England offensive line that is banged up? I think, especially in the run game. I think in the pass game, as much as I think that this is something New England could do, I don't think they're going to beat you with a ton of explosives, and I don't think they're going to put themselves in a position to score a bunch of points. So that's kind of my first thing. My second thing is, can Tua decipher post-snap what Bill Belichick is going to throw at him at a high enough level to score a good amount of points? Because I don't think you're going to be particularly successful running the ball against the Patriots front, and I don't think the Patriots are going to run as much man as a lot of people think. Again, I was talking to Taylor Kyles. He says we could see a lot more zone. And the way that Bill Belichick throws zone at you, it's not like most coaches. He's not going to sit there and just show you what you're getting. It's going to be a lot of post-snap rotation, a lot of different droppers. And as much as I like Tua's dissecting pre-snap, it's been post-snap where he's had some issues in the past. I think him being able to decipher that is absolutely huge. I wouldn't be shocked if Miami kind of gives him more of those looks where it's the half field for a zone read, a half field for a man read. and then just kind of letting him decipher from there. And then lastly, I would say just don't let New England get home with their, like, make sure that your pass protection up front is stellar, or like at least good enough. Just communicate things well, and like I said, get to spots, because you've got a quarterback who throws it faster and farther than just about anybody in the league into it if you can just give him enough time. And that doesn't need to be a ton of time. You just need to make sure you're getting the spots. And the way that New England gets a lot of their pressure is taking advantage of quarterbacks and offensive lines that aren't communicating those stunts properly. They might have a late looper through the A gap or B gap. They might have somebody coming off the edge that you weren't expecting. A lot of the times they're getting free rushers, which is the quickest way to get sacked is if you've got somebody who's completely unblocked. So making sure that Miami just kind of gets guys in those areas, I think those are kind of my three main keys to this game.
Facts.
But yeah, this one, we don't really have to go play by play on this, but it's just showing the amount of times that New England went to these personnels. And don't get me wrong, the results are mixed. There's a lot of times where Philadelphia does get a stop, but the amount of times where New England was kind of able to take advantage. If you want to pause this right here, actually, this is a 3-on-3 scenario. If you get man, like, they've got this apex defender right here. I believe it's Avonte Maddox, who looks like he's essentially pressed up on the line of scrimmage. And a lot of the times, if it's zone, they're going to run something straight and sometimes to the outside, just something about 10 to 12 yards up the field that kind of holds Maddox, and then they'll have something either sneak underneath or sneak into the flat, and then they'll have either a later route or something that wasn't breaking already inside or outside. It takes away Fangio's rules, essentially, because you've got a guy like Maddox who has to cover so much short field. Then you've got the outside defender, I believe that's Darius Slay, who has to play if something breaks towards the sideline. And then you've got the safety who has to play if something breaks towards the middle. So kind of opening up the space in between these guys is kind of where New England did a lot of their damage. And then the Philadelphia Eagles tried to maneuver a lot of this to man, but a lot of the times, because it's a bunch and you can't get hands on a lot of these receivers, New England was able to sneak them behind them and get some bigger chunk plays. But yeah, if you want to roll this one again, see, they ran a route about 10 yards up the field. They ran a little in route behind it, and then they run something. Again, this is one where they switch to man, and because they've got a corner route and because there's so much crossing over, these are the kind of big things. Another time they're going to run it over. This time they run a screen. It doesn't really work out great for them, but they're just able to get bodies in these areas. Again, here's another example. This time it's, again, a man concept. Mac Jones puts this on the money. It's just going to be hard to stop, especially if you go 3-on-3. Safety help might be huge here. Here might be, honestly, if you want to back up to the beginning of that play, I know it's a part of the same thing, so I don't know if you can do that, if you could rewind it a little bit. But this is kind of where you get into a weird territory with it, because you might be dedicating more assets and then you get a late rotation here. Philly rotates this late, single high safety. Mac notices it, and Darius Slay's late to the ball because Mac Jones puts it in such a great spot. That might be one of those man zone reads, and because Philly later in the game knew that they were getting beat by a lot of these concepts, they tried to go to single high and they got man beaters. So maybe if Fangio switches it up early, it might come down to how well can your corners play against these New England receivers. And obviously that's a matchup that we like, but it could get weird given these stacks.
Yeah, got to be careful there. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, it's just New England plays a lot, and they were really smart with a lot of it. Don't get me wrong. There are a lot of these plays that did not work out, but a lot of it was more poor execution than a bad game plan. They were forcing the Eagles to move in a lot of these scenarios, and they were using physicality and just kind of taking advantage of the personnel in front of them. So I'm expecting a lot of these late shifts and a lot of plays like this where it's just, there you go, you've got somebody trying to break open on the bottom. Here it doesn't work, but there are ways to play it. It's just going to come down to, can Miami stay disciplined but also attack the football when necessary?
All right, that was it.
Yes, sir. So what are your predictions, man? What are you thinking based on everything, based on what we did with the Chargers and how, there's some things to work on, some things we saw, and then also what you saw from the film with the Patriots, both on offense and defense. In your opinion, what do you think the outcome could be?
I think the biggest wild card in this game, oddly enough, is Miami's passing offense. because of the fact that I feel like New England is going to get the ground game going. I've seen too many times where they've got offensive linemen out and they just maul, and I feel like that's going to happen. And I feel like it's going to come down to, I don't think New England's going to score a ton. It just comes down to, can Miami score enough in return? And against a Bill Belichick defense, I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, this is a defense that has historically played well against Kyle Shanahan's disciples. Obviously, this is a different iteration of it with Mike McDaniel. I think this is going to be a big Tua litmus test game. I'm going to say that if Miami wins, they're going to probably have to pull out a close, little ugly one, kind of how we saw last year when they played the Steelers, last year when they played the Patriots early in the season. I think if they win, it's going to have to be a close, tight game. But I don't know. I think they're.
I said the Dolphins would put 30 points up. They kicked me off Twitter.
This is the thing, is that I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities where Miami just goes in and their passing offense just lights it up again. Because to be quite honest with you, I don't know how you stop it right now. But the problem is I might have too much blind faith in Bill Belichick where I'm like, hey, potentially, top 3 greatest coach of all time could be one, and that's where you get scared, where it's like, what is he going to do?
See, I think this is the new genius. I think we've given Bill Belichick enough of his flowers. Now it's time to put him to rest. I feel like McDaniels is the new mastermind of the AFC East. And I feel like, even with the Devontae Parker trade, a lot of the fans thought that was a bad trade. McDaniels won that trade. So, I mean, we got the new mastermind of the East.
I think this is the thing. I have a lot of faith in Mike McDaniel. I know that there's going to be something weird the Patriots throw out, because they always do. I think this is kind of a big litmus test game, because it's like, if they win this game, then I think you're looking at them as, hey, this is a team that can go beat a divisional opponent that typically punches people in the mouth. Right now, Miami looks like a team that's going to have to win with a lot of finesse, and winning on Sunday might take a lot of grit, a lot of power, and I want to see them go win that kind of game, because it's a game that Miami Dolphins teams have lost in the past. That's where I kind of get a little concerned. I know it's kind of out of the realm of analysis and looking at film, but it's just I've watched this scenario way too many times, and I think that's where I kind of get, a little scared of what could potentially happen.
I just think that this is just a different Miami Dolphin team. Like, everyone's in a different place mentally. I've seen growth from even players like Tyreek Hill, who I didn't think he could get better, but what he's doing off the line and mentally being in the right place, and just the knowledge overall of the offense from both the coaches and the players, and defensively, I feel like Fangio will be able to do enough that he'll be able to make the defense show up timely situations. And I'm not sure if we'll be able to completely shut them down in the run game. I mean, we're all, looking forward to what that's going to look like this weekend as far as on defense. But I just feel like overall that I went into last week kind of limiting this offense, and I think that I don't think we can. I don't think we can.
I agree with you. I think if Miami, you can go first. Yeah.
No, I was going to quickly say I do think they're going to surprise us with an effective running game. Maybe they'll just want to smash mouth, and because there's always something with our running game against the Patriots. Some way, somehow, we don't think the running game is not there, and then it just pops up and it ends up being.
I think that's the quickest way to win this game, is just if you can have an effective run game and you don't. Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't care who the quarterback is. It could be prime Tom Brady. If I have to go up to New England, I want to keep the ball out of their hands, just because. Right. New England does so much smart stuff with their rotations, with baiting guys. Doesn't matter who it is. They make a quarterback make mistakes, no matter how safe they are with the football. And Tua has proven that he's willing to go take shots down the field, and they like to make those quarterbacks' lives hell. So that's where it gets a little weird for me. The quickest way for Miami to win, in my opinion, is if you can put up 100, 150 yards rushing and make Tua only have to throw the ball 25 times. You're all of a sudden in a situation where I feel like that's a way to win. It's just we haven't seen whether or not Miami can do that. Do I believe they can? Against most teams, yes. Against New England, I think it's iffy. But like you said, it seems to just randomly step up at times in New England games. We saw Saman Ahmed a couple of years ago go for 150 on New England. So I would love to see that again. I'm so in.
Hey,
Right, right.
Tyler. I'm over here pushing propaganda.
Oh, here you go.
What is it?
I need to know. Hold on. It's cold out here. Are you with the Wilkins train or are you with the Sealer train? I'm saying that Sealer has 2 sacks this week. I'm riding with Sealer. I'm putting my chips on the Sealer, man. Who you riding with for 2 sacks today?
So you're saying if one of them gets two sacks, who's it going to be?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going Christian Wilkins because it's New England. That man cannot stand the Patriots. I see him ripping towels off everybody. I can totally see a game where Christian Wilkins drives Mac Jones insane. So if I have to pick one for this week, I've called Zach Sealer the most underrated player in football. I love that man. He got his money. I'm so happy for him. But if I'm picking one for this week, I think the guy who's more likely to go eat in one-on-one kind of finesse scenarios against, a backup offensive line, I'm going Christian Wilkins.
Tyler, we're gonna have to pause the show. Last week there was
See, Tyler know what he's talking about.
last week in the show they went against me. I'm with the Steeler train. I said we paid Sealer. He's gonna give us the production we're looking for. No knock to Wilkins, but I'm on the Sealer train.
Yeah, but you might get an angry Christian Wilkins who wants his money.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, but I like a man who's already gotten full at the table and know he's going to work every day. I'm riding with
that man
Steeler.
is asleep.
But you know what? Steelers done got
How do we get 2 from both of them? Or we get one each? I'm fine by that.
A 2 for 2 for French? Let's go.
Last week, I said that Sealer was going to get a sack before Wilkins. To a messy, Chad didn't believe me, and we bet a Sprite. He has to chug an entire Sprite can without stopping because he lost the bet. Christian versus Sealer.
Oh, I can't wait.
All
This is
right.
terrible.
Let's go.
Let's go, Chad. Let's do it.
Oh, Tyler, you have time to
Do
kind
it
of.
on camera, though. There you
Let's
go.
go.
Oh, there we go.
The whole thing.
Chug.
It must feel refreshing. It must.
He's struggling.
Oh my!
Pinky up,
Breathe.
He had a struggle moment.
Good effort. Good effort.
Look at it. What are you doing?
I appreciate
Hey,
it.
I don't know if you'll be if you have any long, but I would just want to take the time to thank you, man. Thank you for the breakdown.
I
Everybody,
appreciate you so much.
I'm
all the
I'm always
information
down
you
to
gave, that
come
was
back.
really good. Yes,
Hey,
sir.
fantastic
Definitely.
job, man. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Of course.
Before if you have to leave, I don't know if you have to leave, but if you do, where can people find you? Where can they find your
Drop your
content?
info channel.
Yeah, drop your info.
All right, so it's DeSena Sports, DESENA Sports on Twitter, a little bit on YouTube. I'm hoping to get some more up there soon. That's pretty much the main stuff. I do a podcast with my buddy. It's the We Ball podcast. That's on Twitter, YouTube, that kind of thing. We do it's pretty much draft based. We've had to take a little bit of a break because my podcast buddy does have COVID right now and he's going through it a little bit.
Sorry to hear that.
We've taken a little bit of a break, but he's getting better. So yeah, it pretty much DeSena Sports and then We Ball podcast or We Ball Network. Search that on any major social media. You'll probably find us.
Okay.
This safety class coming out in the draft is going to be insane, huh? And the tackles are pretty good as well. What are you feeling of the strong points of this draft, in your opinion?
I'm really, I mean, obviously, I don't think this applies to Miami, but I mean, the quarterback class is so much fun. Like, there's just so many fun guys. I don't know how many of them are like legit prospects right now, but like, there are just so many guys who like could be if they just keep up their production. So that could be fun. I think the edge class is potentially better than last year. I think the safeties are a lot of fun. Andrew Makuba from Clemson is somebody who just flies around with the football.
Yeah,
and that guy is so much fun. Wide receiver is really sick, in my opinion. I think that there's so many wide receivers who could be like really, really good NFL players and kind of have like different skill sets. Those are kind of like the main positions for me.
Right. Cameron Kitchens and Avonte Williams at Miami, that safety duo. I don't know if you've been paying attention to them. You might want to put your eyes on them. I think Kitchens is going to be a star. That's a guy I would love to pair with Holland on the back end. He's someone who could be that true free safety. And I think they'd be pretty much interchangeable back there on the back end.
That's a
Yeah.
timestamp. That's a timestamp right there.
Timestamp.
Both of their draft stock might fall after they lose to FSU, but it's fine. It's
Oh,
fine.
wait. See, Tyler,
Yeah.
you're right.
Y'all struggle with Boston College today. Relax.
What happened today?
They won by
Our
by
secondary is not great. I'll tell you that much. The secondary is a struggling point on that team. We played Boston College, FSU, and we won, but it was close.
But they're known for upsets, though. They're one of those teams that they'll kind of sneak up on you every now and then and give you a tough game. So it's good
fun
to
quarterback,
fight
too.
through some adversity, you know? Hopefully against Miami, you get too much to overcome.
Hey, Tyler, you're up in Tallahassee. You got the best seats in the house, brother. The show's coming to you.
Okay, we'll see.
Get your popcorn ready.
Hey, but that quarterback from Boston College, that boy's a gamer though.
He's
Yes.
Castellanos there.
Yeah.
He's fun.
Yeah, he got some game. He got some game to him. Like,
Yeah, for sure, without a doubt. I liked watching. I hate to say it, but I did enjoy watching him. Kind of like he was fun to watch, even though it was against my team. Then again, though, I would have sacrificed an FSU loss for a win tomorrow. So, you know,
Right.
we know where my heart's with my heart's with the Dolphins, so it's fine.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
I appreciate
Again, man,
it, Tyler.
Tyler, appreciate you, man. Really appreciate you. And we'll do more of these. We'll have a segment with you. We can kind of go in further breakdown of what week 2 and then heading to week 3 based on what we see with the next matchup with the Broncos. So or any other team, we'll figure it out. But
yeah,
appreciate you
definitely.
giving
Great job.
Really appreciate you guys having me. I do have to go, but yeah, like I said, had a lot of fun. Always down to come do this again. Feel free to hit me up. It was a
I
great time.
appreciate you, man.
You're doing what you're doing, Tyler, man. We love your work, man. You're a rising star in this film analytic industry, bro. Like, I see you grinding. I appreciate everyone who puts in the hard work in this community, pushing the community forward and just spreading the knowledge.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you guys. Have a good one. I appreciate
All right,
you.
bro.
Lance.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And there he goes, man. Appreciate y'all,
Great
man.
job. Great job.
Lot of good information for me, man. Heading into week 1. So, what's going on there? So, I think it's time, based on what we've heard, based on what we've seen. It sounds
sir.
like some people owe us money, right, Wally? We got some people who owe us a little bit of money. So, what we talking about?
Wale.
Y'all
Nah.
owe me money too, because I'm late where I gotta be at. Y'all owe me money just like the rest of these Jalen Phillips and them. The rest of the whole defensive line, oh, Big Fangio, oh, Big Fangio, Big Fangio. Oh, I don't think Big Fangio. I don't want to hear it. You want 24, right? You want 24? You got 10.6? Did you get 10.6? Huh? Aren't you? Agba, I want to play for my contract with his. I want to play for it. Van Ginkel, Bradley Chubb, 100. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of all of you. You all owe me money. All of you owe me money. I said it first because I don't want nobody to steal my takes. 2 of you owe me 477 yards. But now that we're here, French, who owes you money? Because I don't want nobody to steal your takes. McKenna, this for you.
Yes, sir. French, you on mute, my boy.
Hey, man.
Go ahead and switch that to Jason Sanders, special teams. Owe me money. You're dead to me, Jason Sanders, until you make 9 points. You're dead to me.
On defense. Talk to me on defense, French.
On defense, the linebacker unit, you're dead to me. You're dead to me for hitting the wrong hole.
Pause.
Pause.
Hey, yo. Coach, talk to me.
Oh, man. On offense, I got to say, I think that even though they had a good game last week, they still owe me some money. That O-line's going to have a job to do this week. So I think on offense is that, and on defense, I want to see. I hate to take French's take, but the linebacker core, man, it just wasn't good enough.
Wow, French. Wow.
Wasn't good enough.
Wow, French. It really be your own kinfolk. OG, please take it away, because these guys, they're killing me right now.
On defense, Fangio owe me money. I'm putting the money on him. He got it. We've been in spaces fighting for our lives, French, saying Fangio was going to change this defense. And what do you do the first week? You make us look bad. I need Fangio to get it right. He owes me money. On offense,
You need a drum roll?
Eric Studsville owe me money. I'm going to leave it at that.
All right, Chad, I see you making the money sign. I see you. Who got on Blue Boys for you? Who got on Blue Boys for you? Who are you the Blue Boys?
Emmanuel Agba. Get what are you getting? 17, 18, 16? I forgot. You're getting too much money. Too much money not to be producing. I need you to step up. If Jalen Phillips is out or not, who knows? I don't know. We'll see what happens with that if he's good to go. I think he's going to try to push it up until game time. But if not, Emmanuel Agba is a guy that I need to step up and produce, show up and show out. Outside of that, I'm going to go Javon Holland. I think he's a guy that we expected to be one of the premier safeties in the NFL. And from a playmaking standpoint, I think last season there was a lack in production. So going into this game, I would like for him to do what he usually does against New England and produce some turnovers, some forced fumbles. Give me something. Give me something, man. Give me something. Offensively, I'm gonna go to the running back room. I'm going to side with my main man OG on this one. Them 4.9 boys got to show up, show out. Mostert, I need you to do your thing. You had your vet day rest off this week. I hope it was used well. I hope you got your nice massage, rub down, ice yourself, put your Epsom salt bath together. You feel me? I'm ready to go. You feel me? And then from there, man, that's it, man. Offensively, it's really for me. It's us on the running backs. I know the wide receivers gonna show up and show out. Looking for Jalen Waddle to do his thing though. So,
Junior, talk to us.
A lot of people have some good, really good money. The running backs room, Fox with the LBs, Brando with Easy E, and also the 4.9 guys. So listen here, man. Who owes me money? One person on that offense. I need Austin Jackson to step to the collection plate and run me my money. Keep doing what you're doing. You had a decent game. Let's be better. Let's take it to another level. Let's show them what that improvement on that offseason has been. Let's show them why Butch Berry was here and chose you to be that right tackle. Austin owes me money. And who owes me money on defense? Man, there's so many people in debt right now on that defensive side, but I'm going to put it on the line on Bradley Chubb. Bradley, you are the first in line. Run me my money. Phillips might not play, so it's going to be on you. Their guys are hurt. Likely Trent Brown might not play. This is eating season. Feasting season. This is on you. I need 2 sacks. 2 sacks. Not one, but 2 sacks. So Bradley Chubb, you owe me money. Let's get it.
All right. Appreciate y'all, boys. We saw Brando that he had Easy E. So, Coach, what we got going on? What we got in the docket?
All right, so we got predictions and we wrap it up. Oh, I'm sorry. Then we got a giveaway at the end. So let's go. Let's do a quick prediction. Let's go with OG. OG, give me a prediction for tomorrow, man.
21-17.
Dolphins.
Yeah, you scared.
I like them to prove me wrong. It's working.
Okay.
All right, French, what we got?
35-17.
All right, I'm gonna write these down. Where's my pen at?
It's gonna take you like 35 minutes to find your pen. Good luck with that.
Shut up. Junior, go ahead. When I look for my pen.
You want Junior to go because you're gonna forget. Don't go, Junior, because you know short-term memory loss is not as a day.
Oh my God.
Come on, man.
He forgot where the pen was, so you know he's gonna forget.
Well, while he looks for his pen, let's make a wager right here now. What we doing? Whoever's the closest gotta do some next playback live. Whoever loses has to do whatever they lost to, whether it's a push-up, a Sprite challenge, any type of challenge. What y'all say?
Look, since you already know what he's gonna lose, we gonna have to we'll buy him a shirt. All right, he wants a jersey.
All right, so I got OG 21-17. I got French 35-17. Junior, what do you got?
Wow, French! French! Wow!
Junior, what you got?
Show me context. I think it's going to be a much sound defense. I know I was totally wrong last week with the high scoring. I'm still going to go low. I feel like it's going to be in the same ballpark as OG 24-17.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. 20 what?
24-17.
Okay.
Dolphins.
Wally, what you got?
I feel like both of you guys stole my thunder. You took my high, French, which is the 35. I was going 37-17. Junior, you took my middle score, which is a 24-17. OG, I don't know what you're thinking about over there. But you know what? Unlike you, I believe in Tua. We dropping 40 on them. 40-10. Play with it. I'm done talking to y'all. I'm done playing with y'all. I believe.
A 40 burger?
A 40 burger.
Like the one that French bought?
A little bit cheaper than that because he got a $50 one. You feel me?
Chad, what you got, baby? Chad.
This man, Chad, he ain't
Roger. Hey!
Hey, yo! No, you did it. No, you did it.
You
wrote it down.
You wrote it down? You think that's what time that?
5 TDs!
Touchdown.
500?
Going crazy.
He said 500 yards. Wow.
Wow, bro, this guy's a thief, bro. This guy's a thief.
And we got Kenneth Cole who said 24-20.
French can't even say that. He can't even look at the screen. Hey, French.
Hey, French. I can't believe you guys did this again to me. I can't believe you guys did this again to me. You guys are just out here stealing my takes, bro.
I'm saying 28-17.
Oh, wow, coach. We're going to go on the limb 28-17. Wow, coach. Good job, coach. I'm proud of you. Like, for real, bro. Like, OG, what did he do?
Nobody picked 28 points, bro. What are you talking about?
He went up 4 from Junior.
Yeah. I think Tua throws 3 and we rush for another one. What's wrong with that?
Let's go. 500 yards, 5 TDs.
What do you want? You want a whole breakdown? Is that what you want?
Listen, Tua, I feel like this game is Tua's game to shine, bro. Like, he has not eclipsed a 250, 300-yard plus type of game against
that's why I'm not.
Bill
He's getting over 40 burgers.
Man, if now is not the time, this is the time right here. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah,
showcase them skills.
All right, man. So we're done with our predictions. I think who's doing a giveaway? We got a giveaway coming up.
Yeah, I'm doing the giveaway right now. Let me.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Because last time we had technical difficulties.
No, I'm just. Hold on.
Are you ready?
Wait, let me flip the camera.
Where's the waiting music? Where's the waiting music?
I just gotta flip
I got you. Hold on.
camera.
I got you. No.
He needs some music.
No, I got you. Hold on. Let me let this YouTube thing load.
We apologize to the viewers.
Yeah, we apologize for French.
Damn, Brando got 48-3.
Nah, Brando, he just want to steal my thunder and be funny. Brando don't believe that. He been in space.
Jesus.
He lied.
Jen says 40 burger babies.
You see what I'm saying?
Get on the vibe.
I see y'all trying to steal my thunder. You see what I'm saying? Hey.
French to get the winner.
Y'all are killing me.
Hey, we are in church today. Deacon French, bring out the collection plate.
Ready.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, Lord. Deacon French, coming to your hot. Bringing the winner for today's. Yes, Lord. A5 taking to church. Yes, Lord.
Wait, hold on. Tell her.
Hey, friend. You're killing me, friend.
I don't tell.
All right.
All right, couple of excuses.
Can you see it?
Deacon French, what you got?
Hey, let's go.
I like that.
Everybody name is in here.
Okay.
Everybody that was qualified. Thomaso, Eleanor, Brando, Anna, Mr. Positive Mike, OG Jordan 23 RL, Two Cheater, Ken Cole, Brian Peasy, Mike, John White, JD with the Dominican flag, Bimbos, and David Jr. We're gonna find out who's the winner right now.
Oh shit! I know who that is.
Oh wow.
That's one of my boys. Good
Door.
job, bro. Good job.
Yes, sir.
Yo.
Congratulations to all the winners.
So, can you show on the screen what they won? No. What do you want?
You'd have to go back to our Twitter page.
Yeah.
Dude, can you?
Hold on. Let me see if I can get it. Hold on. Give me a second. You guys keep talking there.
Hold on.
I'll find it.
Should have had the church music after announcing the winner.
Oh, yeah. Drop that track.
Hold on. I'm looking for the giveaway. Hold on.
You know he can't do two things at one time.
Oh,
What
man.
segment? That was great.
That was good.
For that. Now, as we wait, we gonna celebrate. We're gonna congregate and we gonna praise.
Is it this?
Yes.
Yes, sir. The Miami Dolphin wireless car lights.
Come on. No more candy. Come on.
So if you look at French's screen, you can see what the winning giveaway is.
Yes, sir. And congratulations on winning that. I want to thank every one of you guys for coming through. We are going to be 2-0 at the end of tomorrow night. And I just want to say, yes. Clap your hands while we pray. The Dolphins are going to take this team to a new level, a new heights. Yes.
Yes, Lord.
Yes! Let's do it, baby! Woo! Yeah!
Oh, God.
Guys, thank you again for coming through Inside Leverage. Today, we had a great day. A lot of knowledge, a lot of fun. Man, let's go.
That's it. That's all we got.
That's all we got, baby.
Hey man, listen, man. Shout out to the fans. Shout out to the love y'all here, man. We gonna do bigger things. We only getting better. Shout out to the homie Tyler for pulling up on us, man. I just want you guys to know that if you see French out here, French is we changed his name to French burglar because all of our takes have been stolen by French. We don't even have a brain of our own anymore. French just be tweeting stuff. He out here with a ski mask Dolphin season. It gets wild. So listen, everything that happens is because of French. Don't let them divide you. We're all Sealer and Wilkins family. You know what I'm saying? We one family.
You can't
Guys,
without the other. One don't eat without the other.
Hey, shout out to Dolphins Twitter. We're one. We love you, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the movement. Shout out to the Eve community. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, man, listen. If you're rocking with us, you're rocking with us, man. If you don't, we gonna bring you along with us because we want everybody along for the ride, baby. We
In
are
unity.
one. Let's go.
We got big things coming. Stay tuned. Rock with us, man. We're looking forward to doing a lot more for the community, the Dolphins community, and the actual community outside of football. We want to make our impact known. We're looking to do a lot of big things. I appreciate everyone for y'all support, man. And hey, OG, what you got?
Hey,
I
Final-
listen,
appreciate everybody coming. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know it's from the heart. That's all. That you gonna get the truth from us. Nothing fake.
Hey, tell them we got something special for them for the home opener, man. You know what I'm saying? We gonna do something good for y'all. We gonna, you know what I mean? Y'all gonna like
Hey,
that.
French. Hey, French. 16 ounce. Your turn.
hey,
Yo.
we got some special requests, man. We got some special requests in the crowd.
What we got?
Let's close it out. Let's close it out with the music. Yeah.
Nah. Chill out, man.
Enjoy your Saturday. Good night, everybody.
Hey, man,
Tomorrow,
shout
go
out
to
the
church.
gang, man.
Peace!
What's the special request, man? We gotta talk to the fans, man. I mean, what's up?
That was it.